Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of Liberty's edge and watched the stars move slowly past the viewscreen. The massive cargo ship was 3 days out from Earth and heading toward the mining colonies in the Kepler system. The journey would take 2 more weeks at their current speed. Jake rubbed his tired eyes and checked the time display on his command chair. Another long shift was almost over. The bridge was quiet, except for the soft hum of the ship's engines and the occasional beep from the sensor stations. His first officer, Lisa Harper, sat at the navigation console, reviewing their flight path through the Outer Rim territories. She had been with Jake for 5 years and knew the shipping routes better than anyone. Her fingers moved across the holographic displays as she made small course corrections to avoid the worst of the asteroid debris. Chief Engineer Ben Rodriguez called up from the engine room through the intercom. His voice carried the slight accent from his home colony on Mars. "Captain, the fusion reactors are running smooth and we're making good time. All systems are green down here." Jake smiled and acknowledged the report. Ben was the best engineer he had ever worked with and could fix anything that broke on the ship. Weapons. Officer Amy Johnson sat at her station near the back of the bridge. She was monitoring the long-range sensors for any signs of trouble. The Outer Rim was known for pirates and raiders who attacked merchant ships traveling alone. Most cargo vessels hired military escorts for protection, but Liberty's Edge traveled without guards. The company said it was too expensive and that pirates rarely bothered with mining equipment shipments. Jake walked over to the large viewscreen and looked out at the asteroid field they were approaching. Thousands of rocks floated in the darkness, some as small as cars and others as big as buildings. The belt stretched for millions of miles and was rich with valuable metals. Mining companies sent their ships here to harvest the resources and send them back to the inner worlds. Lisa checked her instruments and called out their position. "We're entering the outer edge of the belt now, Captain. I'm reading normal traffic patterns ahead. 3 mining ships working Sector 7 and a research vessel collecting samples in Sector 12. She paused and studied her screen more carefully. All ships are broadcasting proper identification signals. The crew had been together for 3 years and worked like a well-trained team. Most of them had served in various merchant fleets before joining Liberty's Edge. They knew their jobs and trusted each other completely. Jake was proud of how smoothly his ship operated. Amy suddenly looked up from her sensor station with a concerned expression. "Captain, I'm picking up some strange readings on the edge of our scanner range. 6 contacts moving in formation, about 50,000 kilometers away." She adjusted her controls and tried to get a clearer picture. "They're not broadcasting any identification signals." Jake moved quickly to Amy's station and looked at her display. 6 red dots showed on the tactical screen, moving in a tight group. Their course would bring them close to Liberty's Edge in about 30 minutes. "Can you identify the ship types?" he asked. Amy worked her controls and enhanced the sensor return. "Negative, sir. They're too far away for detailed scans, but the formation suggests military or paramilitary vessels. Size indicates small to medium combat ships." She looked up at Jake with worry in her eyes. "Could be pirates, Captain." Lisa turned from her navigation console and joined them at the tactical station. "Should we change course and avoid them?" she asked. The asteroid field offered plenty of places to hide. If they needed to take cover, Jake considered their options carefully. Changing course would add days to their journey, and the company would not be happy about delays. The cargo they carried was needed at the mining colonies, and any delay could cost the company money. "Let's wait and see what they do. Keep monitoring them, Amy, and let me know if they change course toward us." Ben's voice came over the intercom again. "Captain, I'm reading some unusual energy signatures on the passive sensors. Looks like someone is running silent out there with minimal power output." His engineering expertise allowed him to detect things that normal sensors might miss. The bridge crew became more alert as the situation developed. Jake returned to his command chair and activated the ship's communication system. All hands, this is the captain. We have unidentified contacts in the area. Everyone should remain at their stations and follow standard protocols. This is probably just routine traffic, but we want to be prepared. Amy continued tracking the unknown ships as they moved closer. Contact speed is increasing, Captain. They're definitely heading our way now. Time to intercept is 22 minutes. Her training as a weapons officer made her naturally suspicious of any approaching vessels. Jake opened a channel to the ship's security chief, Danny Martinez, who was making his rounds in the cargo sections. Danny, we might have visitors soon. Make sure your people are ready and have the emergency procedures standing by. Danny acknowledged and began moving his security teams into position throughout the ship. The unknown ships were now close enough for detailed scans, and Amy was able to get more information about them. Captain, I'm reading 6 vessels of Rakari design. They appear to be modified attack ships with enhanced weapons and engines. The Rakari were a predatory alien species, known for raiding merchant shipping in the outer territories. Lisa checked the navigation charts for alternate routes. Captain, there's a dense asteroid cluster about 10 million kilometers to starboard. We could reach it before they intercept us if we change course now. The cluster would provide excellent cover, but would also trap them if the aliens decided to wait them out. Jake weighed their options as the Vakari ships continued their approach. Running would confirm that Liberty's edge was worth chasing and might provoke an attack. Standing their ground might convince the aliens that they had nothing valuable, or that they were prepared to defend themselves. Amy's sensors detected new activity from the approaching ships. Captain, they're charging weapons and raising shields. Definitely hostile intent. The red dots on her screen showed increasing energy readings as the alien ships prepared for combat. Ben called up from engineering with an edge to his voice. Captain, I'm showing power fluctuations in their drive signatures. These ships have been modified for speed and firepower. They're built for hit and run attacks on civilian vessels. The Vakari ships spread out into an attack formation as they closed the distance to Liberty's edge. Jake could see them now on the main view screen as 6 sleek predatory shapes moving through space like hunting wolves. Their hulls were dark and angular with weapon ports visible along their sides. Lisa received an incoming transmission on the communication system. Captain, we're being hailed by the lead Vakari ship. She looked at Jake for instructions on weather. To answer, Jake nodded and stood up from his command chair. Put them on screen, Lisa. The view screen flickered and showed the bridge of the alien ship. A tall Vakari commander with scaled skin and yellow eyes stared back at them. His species looked like humanoid reptiles with sharp teeth and clawed hands. The alien commander spoke in accented but clear human language. Human vessel, this is Commander Theknal of the Vakari hunting pack. You will immediately shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Surrender your cargo and no harm will come to your crew. His tone was confident and threatening. Jake stepped forward and tried to look nervous and frightened. Commander, we're just a peaceful cargo ship carrying mining equipment to the colonies. We don't have anything valuable aboard. He made his voice shake slightly as if he was scared. Theknal laughed harshly, showing his sharp teeth. All human ships carry something of value. Your mining equipment will bring good prices on the black market. You have 2 minutes to comply, or we will destroy your ship. The transmission ended, and the view screen returned to showing the approaching alien vessels. Amy monitored the tactical situation as the Vakari ships moved into boarding positions around Liberty's edge. 6 ships in attack formation, Captain. They're requesting that we drop our shields and power down our engines. She looked at Jake, waiting for orders, Jake appeared to consider their situation carefully before making his decision. We don't have much choice against 6 warships. Power down the engines, Ben, and drop our shields, Amy. Send a message to the lead ship that we're complying with their demands. He sat back down in his command chair and tried to look defeated. The crew followed his orders, and Liberty's Edge appeared to surrender to the alien raiders. The ship's engines went silent, and the protective energy shields that surrounded the hull disappeared. To the Vakari ships, it looked like another easy victory over a helpless human merchant vessel. But Jake, Morrison and his crew were not what they appeared to be, and Liberty's Edge was much more than a simple cargo ship. The blast doors that sealed throughout Liberty's Edge were not standard civilian emergency barriers. They were military-grade composite armor designed to contain explosive decompression and enemy boarding parties. The Vakari warriors trapped in different sections of the ship discovered that their plasma rifles could barely scratch the surface of the heavy barriers. Commander Vecnau found himself sealed in the main cargo bay with only 2 of his warriors. The humans who had appeared so frightened moments before now stood calmly in the center of the room. Jake Morrison no longer looked like a nervous merchant captain, but carried himself with the bearing of a military officer. Amy Johnson moved to a wall panel that had been disguised as an emergency supply locker. Her fingers entered a complex code, and the panel slid aside to reveal a military communications array. She activated the system and began coordinating with crew members throughout the ship using tactical frequencies. Lisa Harper was trapped in a different section with 3 Vakari warriors, but she was far from helpless. The navigation console she had been working at transformed as hidden panels opened to reveal advanced sensor equipment and tactical displays. The aliens watched in growing alarm as their prisoner became something entirely different. Ben Rodriguez sealed himself in the engine room with 2 confused warriors who had been examining the fusion reactors. The aliens suddenly found that every control panel they touched was now locked out and unresponsive. Ben smiled as he began bringing online systems that were not supposed to exist on a civilian. Cargo vessel Jake activated the ship's main communication system, and his voice echoed throughout Liberty's Edge. Attention Vakari boarding party. You are now prisoners aboard a United Earth Navy Q-ship operating under special orders. Your weapons are useless, and your ships are about to discover what happens when you attack the wrong target. Vecnau raised his plasma rifle and aimed it at Jake's chest. You lie human. This is a civilian cargo ship. We scanned your vessel and found no military signatures. His reptilian features showed confusion and growing fear as he realized that something was very wrong with this situation. Amy spoke into her communication headset with the crisp efficiency of a naval officer. Weapons control to all stations. Prepare to drop the masking protocols and bring primary systems online. Gunnery crews to battle stations. This is not a drill. Her transformation from frightened civilian to military professional was complete. The cargo containers that filled the bay began to change as hidden mechanisms activated throughout the ship. What appeared to be mining equipment and industrial supplies was actually something else entirely. Panels slid aside, and mechanical arms extended as the containers revealed their true contents. Lisa worked her controls, and the main view screen in her section activated to show the space around Liberty's Edge. The 6 Vakari attack ships were positioned close to the human vessel in standard boarding formation. They had no idea that their prey was about to become their predator. Ben's voice came over the intercom from the sealed engine room. Captain, primary reactor is coming to full military power. All masking systems are disabling and our true capabilities will be visible in 60 seconds. Weapons power will be available in 90 seconds. The Vakari warriors throughout the ship were discovering that their captives were not ordinary merchant sailors. Danny Martinez had somehow acquired military-grade restraints and was efficiently securing the aliens in his section. His security team moved with tactical precision that belonged on a warship, not a cargo vessel. Jake looked directly at Commander Vecnal and spoke with quiet authority. You made two critical mistakes today. First, you assumed that human civilian ships are defenseless. Second, you believed that a species young enough to be considered primitive could not develop effective countermeasures against piracy. The alien commander's weapon trembled slightly as he maintained his aim at Jake. This is impossible. Our intelligence shows that human merchant vessels carry minimal defensive systems. You cannot be a military ship disguised as a cargo hauler. His voice carried uncertainty as evidence mounted against everything he thought he knew. Amy completed her system activation sequence, and the cargo bay around them began its dramatic transformation. The shipping containers that had convinced the Vakari of the ship's civilian nature opened like mechanical flowers, revealing their hidden contents. Advanced weapon systems and military equipment emerged from their concealment. What the aliens had dismissed as mining equipment was actually the latest in human military technology. Railgun assemblies, missile launch systems, defensive armor plating, and sensor arrays that could track targets across millions of kilometers. Every container held instruments of war disguised as industrial tools. Lisa managed to activate her section's tactical display despite the presence of her guards. The screen showed the positions of all Vakari ships and began analyzing their capabilities. Her years of naval intelligence training allowed her to quickly assess the enemy formation and identify weaknesses. Ben brought the ship's main reactor to full military specification, and power flowed to systems that had been hidden since Liberty's Edge left port. The fusion core that appeared to be standard civilian technology was actually a military-grade power plant capable of energizing weapons that could destroy ships, much larger than the attacking Vakari vessels that the hull of Liberty's Edge began to change as armor plating extended from hidden compartments and weapon ports opened along the ship's sides. The transformation was like watching a sleeping predator wake up and reveal its true nature. What had appeared to be a helpless merchant vessel was becoming something far more dangerous. Jake continued speaking to the confused alien commander while the ship completed its metamorphosis around them. Liberty's Edge is what we call a Q-ship, a warship disguised as a civilian vessel specifically designed to hunt pirates like you. Everything you see here is real, but not what it appears to be. Vecnal's communication device activated with frantic calls from his ships outside. His officers were reporting impossible sensor readings from the human vessel. Weapon signatures that belonged on a heavy cruiser were appearing on a ship they had classified as harmless cargo hauler. Their targeting computers could not reconcile the conflicting data. Amy coordinated with the hidden gunnery crews that were now manning their battle stations throughout the ship. All weapons report ready, Captain. Target acquisition is complete on all 6 enemy vessels, awaiting your orders to engage. Her professional calm contrasted sharply with the growing panic of the alien boarding party. The Vakari warriors in other sections of the ship were discovering that their situation had become hopeless. The crew members they had dismissed as frightened. Civilians were actually trained military personnel with years of combat experience. Every human aboard Liberty's Edge was a veteran of the colonial wars. Lisa established communication with the ship's true bridge, which was located in a heavily armored section that the aliens had never seen. Captain, tactical analysis complete. Enemy ships are in optimal engagement positions. Their formation assumes we are helpless, and they have made no preparations for defensive action. Ben reported that all ship systems were now operating at full military capacity. Captain, we are ready for combat operations. Main engines are online, and we can maneuver at maximum acceleration. All defensive systems are active, and our true armor rating is now in effect. Jake smiled as he watched the alien commander process the reality of his situation. Your species prides itself on being superior warriors, but you made a fundamental error. You assumed that because humanity is young, that we would be easy victims. You forgot that young species are often the most dangerous because they have everything to prove. The ship's main computer announced the completion of the transformation sequence. All systems now operating under military protocols. Q-ship Liberty's Edge ready for combat operations. Enemy vessels are designated as hostile and cleared for engagement. The voice was crisp and efficient, like everything else about the hidden warship. Amy received target designation data on her tactical display as the ship's weapons systems locked on to the 6 Vrakari attack ships. Captain, we have firing solutions on all targets. Enemy vessels are showing confusion and attempting to reposition, but they are too close to escape effective range. Thetnal's communication device crackled with increasingly desperate reports from his fleet. His ships were detecting weapon signatures that should not exist on a civilian vessel. Railguns that could penetrate their armor, missile systems that could track and destroy multiple targets, and defensive capabilities that made their own weapons nearly useless. Jake made his final announcement to the trapped boarding party. Gentlemen, you are about to witness why attacking human ships is never as simple as it appears. Your vessels believed they were hunting a sheep, but they have actually cornered a wolf. The hunt is about to begin, but you are no longer the hunters. Lisa coordinated the tactical situation from her station, while her guards watched in growing horror. Captain, enemy ships are attempting to withdraw, but they are too close and moving too slowly. They configured for boarding operations, not combat maneuvering. Estimated time for them to reach safe distance is 12 minutes. Liberty's Edge erupted into deadly action as Amy Johnson unleashed the ship's hidden weapon systems. The first salvo of railgun fire streaked across space at tremendous velocity and slammed into the nearest Vrakori attack ship. The alien vessels. Shields collapsed instantly under the impact, and secondary explosions rippled across its hull as critical systems failed. The Vrakari fleet commanders watched in shock as their easy target transformed into something from their worst nightmares. The harmless cargo ship they had been preparing to loot was now revealing weapon signatures that belonged on a heavy battle cruiser. Their sensors could barely track the projectiles that were tearing through their defensive formations. Then, Rodriguez pushed the ship's engines to maximum power, and Liberty's Edge began moving with acceleration that no civilian vessel should possess. The hidden military-grade propulsion system launched the massive ship forward, like a predator pouncing on its prey. The Vrakari ships found themselves outmaneuvered by a vessel they had assumed was slow and clumsy. Commander Thetnal received frantic communications from his fleet as they tried to understand what was happening. His second-in-command aboard the flagship was screaming that their target had become a warship and was systematically destroying their formation. 2 ships were already crippled, and the others were taking heavy damage from weapons that should not exist. Jake Morrison coordinated the battle from the sealed cargo bay, while his crew fought with the precision of veterans. Lisa Harper provided tactical analysis from her station, while Amy Johnson directed the weapons fire with deadly accuracy. Every shot was calculated to disable rather than destroy, because they wanted survivors to spread the word about what happened here. The second Vrakari ship attempted to escape by diving toward the asteroid field, but Liberty's Edge pursued with relentless efficiency. Amy targeted their engine systems with surgical precision, and the alien vessel found itself drifting helplessly as its propulsion failed. The crew was alive, but their ship was no longer a threat. Ben's voice came over the intercom as he reported on the ship's performance. Captain, all systems operating perfectly. The enemy weapons are having minimal effect on our crew armor rating. Their plasma cannons are designed for civilian targets, not military-grade composite hull plating. The remaining 4 Vakari ships tried to coordinate a counterattack, but discovered that their weapons were almost useless against Liberty's Edge. The human vessel's defensive systems included adaptive armor that adjusted to incoming energy weapons, and point defense systems that intercepted incoming missiles before they could reach their target. Lisa analyzed the enemy formation and identified the command ship from its communication patterns. Captain, target designated as enemy flagship, is attempting to coordinate their retreat. Recommend priority engagement to disrupt their command structure. Her tactical training allowed her to read the battle like a chess game. Amy shifted fire to the Vakari command vessel and unleashed a concentrated barrage that overwhelmed their shields and disabled their main communication array. The alien admiral found himself cut off from his remaining ships just as his carefully planned raid turned into a complete disaster. His hunters had become the hunted. The asteroid field provided cover for both sides as the battle moved among the floating rocks. Liberty's Edge used the environment to its advantage with superior sensors and maneuvering capability. The ship moved through the debris field like it was dancing while the Vakari vessels struggled to navigate the hazardous terrain. Ben pushed the reactor beyond normal safety limits to provide maximum power to the weapons and engines. Captain, I'm running the fusion core at 110% capacity. We can maintain this output for another 20 minutes before I need to reduce power for safety protocols. His engineering expertise allowed the ship to perform far beyond its design specifications. The third Vakari ship attempted to use a large asteroid for cover, but Amy anticipated the maneuver and fired a spread of missiles that curved around the rock and impacted the alien vessel from behind. The surprise attack crippled their navigation systems and left them spinning helplessly in space. Jake opened a communication channel to the remaining Vakari ships and spoke with the calm authority of a predator who knew he had already won. Attention, Vakari vessels. You are outgunned and outmaneuvered. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated according to galactic conventions. Continue fighting, and you will be destroyed. Commander Vecnal listened to the communications from his trapped position in the cargo bay. His carefully planned raid had turned into a nightmare as a superior force was being systematically dismantled by a single human ship. Everything he thought he knew about human military capabilities was proving to be completely wrong. The fourth alien ship tried to ram Liberty's Edge in a desperate suicide attack, but Ben saw the maneuver coming and executed a precision course change that sent the Vakari vessel crashing into an asteroid instead. The impact destroyed the ship instantly and eliminated another threat from the Heian enemy formation. Amy coordinated with the ship's missile batteries as they engaged multiple targets simultaneously. Captain, launching full spread at remaining hostiles. Time to impact 45 seconds. Enemy point defenses are inadequate to intercept our ordnance. The advanced human weapons technology was proving completely superior to anything the aliens possessed. Lisa tracked the battle on her tactical display and provided real-time analysis of enemy movements. Captain, remaining 2 ships are attempting to flee toward the outer system. Their course suggests they are trying to reach the hyperspace transit point and escape to report our position. Her intelligence background made her think strategically about the larger implications. Ben modified the ship's engine output to provide maximum pursuit speed while maintaining weapons power. Captain, I can give you enough acceleration to catch them before they reach the transit point. The reactor is running hot, but we can maintain pursuit speed for the time needed. His confidence in the ship's systems was absolute. The chase moved out of the asteroid field and into open space where Liberty's Edge could demonstrate its true speed capability. The disguised warship accelerated past the fleeing Vakari vessels and turned to face them head-on. The aliens found themselves trapped between the human ship and the asteroid field. They had just escaped Amy prepared the ship's most powerful weapons for the final engagement. Captain, main railguns are charged and ready. Target acquisition locked on both remaining hostiles. Recommend simultaneous engagement to prevent either ship from escaping to report our capabilities. Her tactical thinking focused on maintaining operational security. The fifth Vakari ship fired everything it had at Liberty's edge in a final desperate attack. Plasma bolts and missiles filled space between the two vessels, but the human ship's defenses handled the barrage with ease. Return fire from the railguns punched through the alien shields and disabled their weapon systems without destroying the ship. Made his decision about the final vessel as it attempted to flee toward hyperspace. Amy, disable their engines, but leave their communication systems functional. I want them to carry a message back to their people about what happens when pirates attack human shipping. His strategic thinking went beyond winning this single battle. The last functional Vakari ship found its engines, destroyed by precision fire from Liberty's edge. The alien vessel drifted helplessly in space while its crew realized that they had survived only because the humans chose to let them live. Their communication systems remained active to ensure they could call for rescue and report what had happened. Ben began reducing reactor power as the immediate threat ended. Captain, all enemy vessels are neutralized. No ships escaped, and we have 5 disabled vessels with survivors. Our own damage is minimal, with only minor system strain from the high-power operation. His engineering report confirmed their complete victory. Lisa compiled the tactical data from the engagement for later analysis. Captain, battle duration was 18 minutes from first shot to final target neutralized. Enemy formation was completely destroyed with minimal expenditure of our ammunition reserves. The engagement parameters will make an excellent case study. Amy secured the ship's weapons and began damage assessment procedures. Captain, all weapon systems performed within expected parameters. Enemy return fire caused no significant damage to our hull or internal systems. We are ready to continue operations or defend against additional threats if necessary. Jake addressed the surviving members of the Vakari boarding party, who had witnessed their fleet's destruction through the ship's communication systems. Gentlemen, your ships attacked what you thought was a helpless merchant vessel. Instead, you found a warship designed specifically to hunt pirates like yourselves. This is what happens when you underestimate human military capabilities. Commander Vecnal stared at Jake with a mixture of fear and respect that had not been present when he first boarded the ship. How many ships like this do humans operate? How many of your merchant vessels are actually disguised warships? His questions revealed the strategic implications of what he had witnessed. Jake smiled with the satisfaction of a hunter who had completed a successful mission. The aftermath of the battle left space around Liberty's edge littered with the wreckage of Vakari dreams of easy conquest. 5 alien attack ships drifted powerless among the asteroids, while their crews contemplated how badly they had misjudged. Bare human prey. The 6th ship had been completely destroyed when it attempted the suicidal ramming attack that failed so spectacularly. Jake Morrison stood in the main cargo bay, surrounded by the containers that had revealed their true nature. During the fight, what appeared to be mining equipment was actually the most advanced military hardware that human engineering could produce. Rail guns, missile systems, sensor arrays, and defensive equipment that could turn any merchant vessel into a formidable warship. Commander Vecnal sat on the deck with his remaining warriors under the watchful eyes of Danny Martinez and his security team. The alien commander's reptilian features showed the shock of someone whose entire worldview had been shattered in the space of 30 minutes. His superior hunting pack had been eliminated by a single human vessel. Amy Johnson worked at her weapons console, coordinating the recovery operations while keeping the ship's defensive systems active. The disabled Valkyrie vessels posed no immediate threat, but years of military training had taught her never to assume an enemy was completely neutralized until they were either destroyed or secured. Ben Rodriguez reported from the engine room as he brought the ship's systems back to normal operational parameters. Captain, reactor temperature is returning to safe levels, and all systems are showing green across the board. The ship performed perfectly during combat operations. We can resume. Our original mission profile whenever you're ready. Lisa Harper compiled the tactical data from the engagement while coordinating with Fleet Command through secure communication channels. Her report would become part of the official record of Q-ship operations and would be studied by military analysts for years to come. The complete destruction of a Valkyrie hunting pack by a single disguised vessel was unprecedented. Jake activated the ship's communication system and opened a channel to the surviving alien vessels. Attention Valkyrie survivors. This is Captain Morrison of the United Earth Navy. Q-ship Liberty's Edge. Your attack on this vessel was an act of piracy against lawful commerce and will be reported to galactic authorities. The response came from the least damaged of the alien ships, where their communications officer had managed to restore partial power to their systems. Human Captain, we request medical assistance for our wounded and safe passage to contact our government. We did not know your true nature when we initiated contact. The voice carried none of the earlier arrogance. Amy monitored the tactical situation as rescue operations began for the disabled alien crews. Captain, I'm detecting multiple distress signals from the enemy vessels. Estimate total of 47 survivors across all ships, with approximately 12 requiring immediate medical attention. No signs of additional hostiles in sensor range. Jake considered the situation carefully before responding to the alien request. Commander Vecnal, your people will receive medical attention according to galactic humanitarian conventions. However, you will remain as prisoners until proper authorities can process your case. Piracy carries severe penalties under interstellar law. The alien commander looked up from where he sat under guard and spoke with quiet respect that had been absent during his earlier threats. Captain Morrison, may I ask how many ships like yours operate in human space? Our intelligence indicated that your merchant vessels were vulnerable targets with minimal defensive capabilities. Jake smiled, but did not provide specific information about Q-ship operations. Let's just say that human merchant vessels are more dangerous than they appear. Your intelligence was correct, that we are a young species, but you failed to understand what that means. Young civilizations learn quickly and adapt rapidly to new threats. Ben completed his post-battle engineering assessment and reported no significant damage to Liberty's Edge. Captain, the ship came through the engagement with only minor stress indicators on the main reactor and some elevated temperatures in the weapons cooling systems. Everything is well within normal operational parameters for a vessel of this class. Lisa received confirmation from Fleet Command that additional naval units were being dispatched to secure the area and process the captured Valkyrie personnel. Captain, the cruiser Hampton will arrive in 6 hours to take custody of the prisoners and salvage the disabled vessels. We're authorized to continue our original mission once the transfer is complete. Danny Martinez supervised the medical treatment being provided to wounded alien crew members while maintaining security protocols. His team worked with professional efficiency that impressed even the Valkyrie, who had initially dismissed them as inadequate civilian security personnel. The humans showed no vindictiveness despite being attacked without provocation. Amy began the process of returning the ship's weapon systems to their concealed configuration. The transformation was as impressive in reverse as it had been during the reveal. Military hardware disappeared back into innocent-looking shipping containers while weapon ports sealed and became invisible once again. Jake addressed the assembled. Vrakari prisoners with the authority of someone who had proven his point beyond any doubt. Gentlemen, you attacked what you believed was a helpless civilian ship, and discovered instead that it was a warship designed specifically to hunt pirates. This should teach your people something important about making assumptions. Commander. Vec now asked the question that had been troubling him since the battle ended. Captain, why did you spare our lives? Your weapons could have destroyed all our ships, instead of merely disabling them. By the laws of war, you had every right to. Eliminate us completely. His confusion was genuine. Jake's response revealed the deeper strategy behind Q-ship operations. Because dead pirates can't spread the word about what happened here. Your job now is to return to your people and tell them exactly what you encountered. Every pirate in the galaxy needs to know that attacking human ships is no longer a safe or profitable enterprise. Ben received word that the ship's true identity was being reclassified, and that they would resume their cover as a civilian cargo vessel once the naval units arrived. Captain, Fleet Command confirms that our mission will continue as planned. The mining colonies are still expecting their equipment delivery, and our schedule can be maintained despite this delay. Lisa updated the ship's logs with the official record of the engagement while ensuring that classified information about Q-ship capabilities remained secure. Captain, all tactical data has been properly recorded and transmitted to Fleet Intelligence. This engagement will provide valuable data for improving future operations against pirate activities. Amy completed the weapons concealment process and reported that Liberty's Edge once again appeared to be exactly what its papers claimed. Captain, all military systems are secured, and the ship is back to civilian configuration. Visual and sensor profiles now match a standard cargo hauler. We are ready to resume our cover mission. Jake made his final statement to the captured alien commander before the naval units arrived to take custody. Commander Vecnal, I want you to remember something important. Humanity may be young compared to other galactic civilizations, but we did not survive and expand by being weak or helpless. We are predators who learned to hunt among the stars. The alien commander nodded with the wisdom of someone who had learned a hard lesson. Captain, I will ensure that your message reaches the proper authorities among my people. The Vrakari have great respect for worthy opponents, and you have proven that humans are far more dangerous than our intelligence suggested. His tone carried genuine respect for their capabilities. Ben announced that the approaching naval vessels were now visible on long-range sensors. Captain, the Hampton and her escort are 3 hours out and requesting confirmation of our situation. All ship systems are nominal, and we are ready to transfer custody of the prisoners as ordered. His engineering expertise had kept them operational throughout the entire engagement. Lisa prepared the final tactical analysis that would be included in the official after-action report. Captain, estimated time for complete prisoner transfer and evidence collection is 90 minutes once the naval units arrive. We can resume our original course to the mining colonies and maintain our scheduled delivery date with minimal delay. Amy secured the last of the concealed weapon systems and ran final diagnostics on all military equipment. Captain, all systems are green and ready for extended operations. The ship performed flawlessly during combat and is prepared for any future encounters. The Vrakari learned that attacking human vessels is much more dangerous than they believed. Jake looked out at the disabled alien ships one final time before preparing to hand over responsibility to the incoming naval forces. Today, a Vrakari hunting pack learned that humans don't build defenseless ships, even when they appear to be civilian cargo haulers. Every vessel in our merchant fleet has the potential to become a predator when threatened. The galaxy has been warned. Danny Martinez reported that all prisoners were secured and ready for transfer, while his security team maintained professional vigilance. Captain John Blake stood on the bridge of the Defiance as his ship moved slowly toward the massive alien station. The structure was bigger than Earth's moon and gleamed with a silver light that hurt his eyes. 5 different alien fleets surrounded the station, each one representing a species that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. Blake looked at his science officer, Dr. Lisa Morgan, who was studying her screens with worry on her face. She had been quiet since they received the message 3 days ago. The Galactic Council wanted to meet with Earth's leaders, and everyone knew it was not good news. Any readings on their weapons, Lisa? Blake asked. Morgan shook her head. Their ships are using technology I cannot understand. The energy readings are off my charts. John, I think each of their smallest ships could destroy our entire fleet. Blake nodded. He had expected this. Humanity had been part of the Galactic Council for 200 years, but they were always treated as the weak species. Humans did the mining work, the construction jobs, and the cleaning duties, while the 5 major alien species made all the important decisions. The communication system came alive with a cold voice that spoke perfect English. Human vessel Defiance. You will dock at Bay 7. Ambassador Torres is expected in the council chamber in 1 hour. Blake turned to Ambassador Ryan Torres, who was sitting quietly in the corner. Torres was a tall man with gray hair who had spent 20 years trying to make the aliens respect humanity. His face showed that he knew this meeting would be different. Ryan, do you have any idea what they want? Blake asked. Torres stood up and straightened his diplomatic uniform. I have been hearing rumors, John. The other species have been talking about humanity's growth. Our population on Earth reached 15 billion last year. We have colonies on 14 worlds now. They think we are expanding too fast. Dr. Morgan looked up from her console. But we have stayed within all the agreements. We have never taken any world that belonged to another species. We have followed every rule they gave us. Torres smiled, but it was not a happy smile. That might be the problem, Lisa. We have been too successful at following their rules. The Defiance moved into the docking bay, and Blake felt the artificial gravity of the alien station take hold of his ship. Through the windows, he could see aliens from all 5 major species working together. The Centauri looked like tall, thin humans, but with purple skin and large black eyes. They could read minds and had been the first species to contact Earth. The Corvan looked like bears that walked on 2 legs and carried weapons everywhere they went. They controlled the largest military in the galaxy, the Ethereal Collective. Members floated in the air inside energy suits and claimed to be millions of years old. The Hive Confederation aliens looked like giant insects and always moved in groups. A Nexus Union. Members were robots that had once been alive, but now existed as artificial intelligence in metal bodies. Blake, Torres, and Morgan left their ship and walked through the station corridors. Alien security guards watched them carefully. Blake noticed that these guards carried weapons he had never seen before. The technology looked advanced beyond anything humanity possessed. They reached the council chamber, which was a huge round room with seats arranged in a circle. Representatives from all 5 alien species were already waiting. In the center of the room stood a human-sized platform with a single chair. Ambassador Torres walked to the chair while Blake and Morgan stood behind him. The leader of each alien species began to speak. The Centauri leader spoke first. His voice echoed in their minds rather than their ears. Ambassador Torres, humanity has been part of our Galactic Council for 2 centuries. During this time, your species has grown beyond acceptable limits. The Corvan commander stepped forward. His voice was deep and rough. Your population has increased from 2 billion to 15 billion. Your colonies have expanded from 3 worlds to 14. This growth violates the controlled development protocols. Torres stood up. Honored council members, humanity has followed all agreements. We have never exceeded the population limit set for each individual world. We have never claimed territory that belonged to others. The ethereal representative floated closer. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music. Ambassador Torres, you misunderstand the nature of our concern. The protocols exist to maintain balance in the galaxy. No species should grow too quickly or become too numerous. The hive speaker moved with the sound of clicking legs. The collective has decided. Humanity's expansion threatens galactic stability. The Nexus Union representative spoke in a mechanical voice. Analysis complete. Human growth rate exceeds acceptable parameters by a factor of 3.7. Torres looked around the room. What exactly are you asking of humanity? The Zentari leader stood up. We are not asking, Ambassador. We are commanding. Humanity will reduce its population to 2 billion within 10 years. You will abandon all colonies except Mars. You will accept technological limitations that will prevent future expansion. Blake felt his blood turn cold. Dr. Morgan gasped behind him. Torres remained calm, but his hands were shaking. And if humanity refuses these demands? Torres asked. The Corvin commander smiled, showing sharp teeth. Then humanity will be removed from the galaxy entirely. Suddenly, the walls of the chamber became transparent, showing space outside. Blake could see the alien fleets more clearly now. Thousands of ships surrounded the station. Each ship was larger and more advanced than anything humanity had ever built. The ethereal representative spoke again. Perhaps a demonstration will help you understand our position. On the screens around the room, images appeared showing Earth's outer defense stations. Blake recognized them immediately. These were humanity's most advanced military installations, built to protect Earth from asteroids and other space dangers. The alien fleets fired their weapons. Blake watched in horror as beams of pure energy struck the defense stations. The human structures, which had taken decades to build, disappeared in seconds. There was no explosion, no debris. They simply ceased to exist. Your entire military could not stop one of our ships, the Corvin commander said. We have weapons that can crack planets. We have shields that can stop any attack. We have technology that your species will never understand. Dr. Morgan whispered to Blake, John, the energy output from those weapons is impossible. They are using power sources we cannot even imagine. Torres stood up again. His voice was steady, but Blake could see the fear in his eyes. How long do we have to consider this ultimatum? 1 month, the Zentari leader replied. You will return to Earth and present our demands to your leaders. If they refuse, we will begin the elimination of humanity with your home world. The meeting ended, and Blake, Torres, and Morgan were escorted back to their ship. None of them spoke during the walk. The weight of what they had just heard was too much for words. As the Defiance pulled away from the alien station, Blake looked back at the massive fleets. Each alien species had more ships than humanity had ever built. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their technology was thousands of years ahead of human science. Back on the bridge, Torres sat down heavily in his chair. John, I need you to take us home as fast as possible. Earth's leaders need to know what we are facing. Blake nodded and gave the orders to his crew. As the ship jumped to faster-than-light travel, he thought about humanity's options. They could accept the alien demands and watch their civilization shrink to almost nothing. They could refuse and face complete destruction. Dr. Morgan came to stand beside him. John, there has to be another choice. Humanity has survived ice ages, wars, and plagues. We have always found a way. Blake looked at her and then at Torres. Maybe we have. Ryan, when we get back to Earth, I need you to arrange a meeting with the military leadership. There are some old files I want to review. Torres looked confused. What files? Blake smiled for the first time since the meeting. Project Lazarus files. I think it is time humanity stopped playing by their rules. As the Defiance raced toward Earth, Blake thought about the alien ultimatum. They had given humanity 1 month to choose between submission and extinction. What they did not know was that humanity had been preparing for this choice for much longer than anyone realized.